Hi, this is Patty Shannon. I am a senior legal assistant at the Texas Ethics Commission, and this training will cover some of the rules and statutes for starting your campaign in Texas. If you have any questions while we are going through this presentation, you are welcome and encouraged to reach out to us. You can call us at 512-463-5800. If you have any questions about how to use our electronic filing application or how to reset your password, things like that, ask for technical support. If you have questions about whether you are considered a candidate for campaign finance purposes or what to do if you are, ask for the legal department. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. This presentation will only cover the first 2 bullet points on this slide. It covers the basics for starting your campaign. The other bullet points are covered in a different presentation called C/OH reporting, which you can find in the same location you found this. And by the way, C/OH stands for candidate/office holder. These are some of the many resources you can find on our website that may be helpful for you. Keep in mind that our website is being redesigned right now, and these items will be found elsewhere soon. So here are some of the questions we hope to answer with this presentation. A campaign treasurer appointment. What is it? Why is it important? Who can be your campaign treasurer? What are the forms that you need to use? And where do you file them? You are considered a candidate for purposes of Texas's campaign finance laws if you knowingly and willingly take affirmative action for the purpose of gaining nomination or election to public office. Becoming a candidate for purposes of Texas's campaign finance laws should not be confused with determining whether you are eligible to run for office. That and the application for a place on the ballot are handled by the Secretary of State, not the Ethics Commission. We will look at what affirmative action is on the next slide. You must complete a campaign treasurer appointment, commonly known as a CTA, before you take any one of these affirmative actions on this slide. The 2 most common things are raising or spending money or publicly announcing you intend to run. You can talk all you want around your dinner table, but before you announce it publicly via social media, at the grocery store, or in a meeting, you must have a CTA on file. You also must file your CTA on or before the time you file your application for a place on the ballot. And remember, that document is filed with the Secretary of State, not the Ethics Commission. Campaign treasurer appointments can be filed months or even years before the application for a place on the ballot is required to be filed. In contrast, the application for a place on the ballot can only be filed close to when you plan to run for office. So what is a CTA form and why is it important? Form CTA must be filed if you choose to run for an elected office in Texas, even if you do not plan to raise or spend any money. All candidates for elected public office, except precinct chairs, must file a CTA, unless you are a federal candidate, of course. That is handled by the Federal Election Commission. Campaign treasurer appointments are in effect when they are filed. It is a Class A misdemeanor to accept campaign contributions or make campaign expenditures without a CTA on file. It can also subject you to civil monetary penalties if someone files a sworn complaint against you for failure to file one. So who can be your campaign treasurer? The only person who can't be your treasurer is someone who is already the treasurer for certain political action committees, known as PACs, and that PAC is behind on its filings. Otherwise, anyone can be your treasurer. You can be your own treasurer. The treasurer does not have to live in the district where the candidate is running. The treasurer doesn't even have to live in Texas. The campaign treasurer for a candidate is largely honorary. The candidate still remains responsible for filing the reports. That is not true for the treasurer of a PAC. There are different treasurer appointments depending on if it is a candidate or a PAC filing it. This is because the law requires different information for CTAs for candidates and PACs. So candidates file CTAs. General Purpose Political Action Committees, commonly known as GPACs, file GTAs. and SPACs, which are specific purpose political action committees, file STAs. We will not cover GTAs or STAs today, but let's talk some more about the CTA. So here is the first page of Form CTA. We're not going to go over everything here because there is a CTA instruction guide on our website that takes you line by line through this form. But let me point out a couple of things. Section 5 is for office held, if any. So if you already hold an elected office, put it here. Section 6 is for office sought, if known. You can file a treasurer appointment and often must file a treasurer appointment before you know what specific office you want to run for, i.e. if you take any of that affirmative action we talked about earlier. For example, you know you want to run for city council, but you don't know if you want to run for the at-large position, a district-specific position, or even mayor. But you want to start raising money now, and you want to start telling people publicly that you plan to run. So file the CTA as soon as you have to. Leave Section 6 blank. And once you know which specific office you want to run for, file an amended CTA, which is called an ACTA that we will talk about in a minute. If you file a CTA before you know which position you plan to run for, you must file that ACTA on or before when you file your application for a place on the ballot with the Secretary of State, because at that point you will have to designate the particular office you are seeking. So Section 6 must be filled in on or before you file your application for a place on the ballot. Now let's talk about modified reporting. You can sign up for modified reporting if you do not plan to raise or spend over a certain threshold during your campaign. This amount changes annually, and it is $1,110 for 2025. When you sign up for modified reporting, you are exempted from filing the 30-day and 8-day reports that are commonly referred to as pre-election reports. However, modified reporting does not excuse you from all campaign finance reports, as many people think. It only excuses you from the reports that are due 30 days and 8 days before an election. Anyone who runs for elected office must file at least a CTA form and one campaign finance report. You sign up for modified reporting on page 2 of Form CTA, which I will show you in a moment. If you are unopposed, you automatically do not have to file the 30-day and 8-day reports. And filing fees are not included in that threshold. If you sign up for modified reporting and later exceed either of those thresholds, that's okay, but you will have to file these pre-election reports. What you need to file when depends on when you exceed the thresholds, so call us for further information. Modified reporting lasts for an entire election cycle, so long as the threshold isn't exceeded. An election cycle is defined as a single election and any related primary or runoff election. So here's the back of Form CTA. This is where you sign up for modified reporting. Some local filing authorities do not realize there is even a back to the CTA form. So if you are a local filer who wants to sign up for modified reporting, it's up to you to sign this and turn it into your filing authority. If you don't sign up for modified reporting by signing the back of your CTA form and you are opposed in your election, you must file the 30-day and 8-day pre-election reports, even if you do not exceed those thresholds, even if you didn't raise or spend a dime. You can't say, well, I didn't file those reports because I didn't go over the thresholds. That may be true, but you didn't tell the public you weren't going to go over those thresholds by signing up for modified reporting. So they don't know that, and you have to file them. So where do you have to file your CTA? That depends. As you can see on the previous slide at the bottom of page 2 of Form CTA, where you file it depends on what type of candidate you are. If you are running for one of the offices in Section 1 on this slide, you file with the Ethics Commission. We call filers who file someplace other than the Ethics Commission local filers. Local filers are those that file their CTAs locally with their local filing authority. So if you are running for county tax assessor, file with your county. If you are running for a school district trustee position, you file with your school district. If you are running for city council, you file with your city. When in doubt, call the Ethics Commission or your local filing authority. And you file your campaign finance reports in the same place you file your CTA. If any information needs to be changed on your CTA form, an amended form called the ACTA must be filed in order for those changes to be in effect. That form can be found on our website at the link on this slide. Now let's talk about one other form that TEC filers only have to file. Candidates that file with the Ethics Commission must file two forms to start their campaign: the CTA form that we've already talked about and Form Security-CF. The treasurer appointment form starts your campaign. Form Security gets you into our electronic filing application to file your campaign finance reports. Candidates that file locally do not use Form Security. Some local filing authorities use an electronic filing system, however, so check with them to see if yours uses one and how to use it if they do. For Ethics Commission filers, you can send in both the CTA form and Form Security at the same time and in the same email. You don't have to do that. You don't have to file the Form Security at the same time as you file your CTA, but you cannot file any campaign finance reports with the Commission until your Form Security has been received and processed. So don't wait until the day your report is due to file it. It takes the Ethics Commission up to 2 business days to process a Form Security, especially when we get close to the filing deadlines. And just as information for local filers, you can use the Ethics Commission's electronic filing application to draft your campaign finance reports. And many choose to do this because it is a cleaner printout. You don't have to handwrite all of the information every time, and you can save your report in draft form until you need to file it. We cover more about this in that separate presentation of C/OH reporting that I told you about before. But if you want to do this, you don't use a Form Security to get into our system if you are a local filer. Copy the link in this slide, then click on Candidates and Office Holders on the left side of the page. Make sure to read the frequently asked questions and other information provided in the links before you start. And keep in mind, you still have to print the report, fill out the portions that our system will not fill in for you, and then sign it and file it with your local filing authority. So when do you need to file a Form Security? There are other times you may need to file a Form Security than just at the beginning of your campaign. Those are covered on this slide. There is no amended Form Security. Just file another one whenever it is needed. Completed CTAs and Form Security forms are not posted on our website. However, both are subject to an open records request with possible redaction. So here's Form Security-CF. This is what it looks like. Make sure when you're filling it out that you are using the one that has -CF on the end. That stands for campaign finance, because we have 2 other Form Securities, one for lobbyists and one for personal financial statement filers. So you want to make sure you're using the correct Form Security. Here's where you can find both the CTA and Form Security forms on our website. Keep in mind, again, our website is being revised. Hopefully it's going to be much better, and these will be found elsewhere on the new website. So thanks for watching, and good luck. Thank you for running for office and being willing to serve your community. We need your voice. It takes courage to put yourself out there, so good for you. And remember, we are always here if you have questions. That's our job. Don't hesitate to call us at 512-463-5800. Have a great day.